Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center in London, United Kingdom, across the globe. Thank you very much for watching us all the time. You can watch us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and YouTube. You are free to call us at the number that runs below that page. Thank you very much. If you have anything, thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television. Today's show is Matsanga Africa Perspective, brought to you all the way from the general headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning, Pambe wa Pambe.
Good morning, Dr. David Matsanga from London. Thank you so much for
Thank you very much.
The show.
We shall go into segments. The topic of the day will be, is there a looming proxy war in the Great Lakes region? First of all, I would like to thank the President of Ethiopia, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, the people of Ethiopia, for allowing food to reach Tigray. My Tigrayan fellow commanders, the commanders of Tigray Liberation Front, thank you very much for honoring Zenawi, for laying down your arms in order to bring about the peace that is needed in the region. Thank you very much, all of you Ethiopians. You have struggled. The first convoy of food has just arrived in Tigray. Thank you very much. Good morning, Africa. And back in the region, the Great Lakes region, first, we want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for the first time to be able to see face to face with the people who have been displaced by the rebel activities, the terrorism that has taken place in a great country called the Democratic Republic of Congo. But before we go further and bring in many of the people online, those watching on Instagram, we have very many of them, and those watching across in other YouTube and other channels. Very soon we shall introduce another channel starting from next week, where you can see all our programs constantly, 24 hours, and you can see, enjoy. Thank you very much. We are moving on, and we shall move on. Africa must rise and shine again. Thank you very much, viewers. Let's go to Nairobi. Tell us the weather in Nairobi. What's going on there? It looks, I'm told there is rain. Rain has arrived in place. Are you harvesting this rain, or you are going to cry again?
Yeah, of course, it is so chilly this morning in Nairobi. It has been raining all through since early morning. And of course, many people are wearing clothes actually to at least hinder them from this much cold here. Many of them are also taking hot tea and coffee. Well, I don't know wherever you are.
I am not interested in those taking hot tea and coffee. Yeah. I'm interested, are you harvesting the rain? Yes or no?
So people are not harvesting the rain here because actually,
so the rain will go again, and you said there is no water, there is drought, there is this. Part of the planning in Africa, that is where we go wrong. Thank you very much. Proceed and give us the news headlines across your country, Kenya.
All right, good morning. Today I'm having the Star newspaper, the Standard newspaper, and the Nation newspaper for Kenya. And on the Star newspaper, the headline is MPs plot Qatar trip to watch World Cup. And on the Standard newspaper, Ruto's big test after judge stops vetting. On Daily Nation newspaper, man who owes Kenya 40 billion shillings. And we move on to other Africa newspapers, where in Uganda, New Vision, spouses' rights on matrimonial property revised. And on Daily News of Egypt, climate change adaptation fund key to strengthening adaptation measures in developing countries, Egypt's FM. On The Citizen of Tanzania, court orders Zanzibar to pay 160 billion shillings rice bill. And on The New Times of Rwanda, the leading daily, Rwanda should address skills gap to strengthen services delivery. This is according to the World Bank. Elsewhere in Nigeria, the Nation newspaper, Tinubu says the brighter days are ahead. The story is on page 2 to 4 and page 28. On the Sowetan newspaper from South Africa, stop probing or else. A Limpopo municipal manager gets chilling message to back off and stop aiding an investigation to irregular tender payments. And text reads that we know your moves, your house, everything, leave those things, then you will live longer. On the Newsday from Zimbabwe, ZEC guns for Team Pachedu. The story is on page 2 of the newspaper. We have the Herald a newspaper from Zimbabwe still. Zimbabweans shine on global platforms. That's a story on the Herald newspaper. Then we have Daily Trust newspaper, which says, Nigeria won't sink under my watch, Tinubu says. And of course, he pledges to build on Buhari's achievements. He says that our country needs Tinubu, not Buhari. Those are the newspapers from Kenya and across Africa. Welcome, Dr. Matsanga, for the London newspapers this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pambe Makanga. Thank you very much for the newspaper across the continent of Africa. Regionally, we picked the papers from different places. The newspapers starting, they've showed today from London, the Daily Express, traced the death of a boy, tragic death of a boy from Maud Shems, Britain. Molds come back. You remember the molds that used to make people, swear and so many things. How they came to reach Britain is a nightmare, and they are ashamed. The British people are ashamed that molds can come on the mainland and kill people. Now, Russian barrage strikes amid claims of missile hit Poland. The missile has hit Poland. Missiles from Russia have hit Poland. And I'm telling you, this is going on and going on, another war looming in the European states as just there's another one. So while this problem is taking place in Russia and Ukraine and now Poland is sucked in with missiles hitting their territory, are we heading to a third world war? Meanwhile, that is not enough. The European countries have focused on looming and creating another situation for diversionary tactics. You will see that in the coming news. That's the Guardian newspaper of London. The Metro newspaper of London talks Putin's war escalates. Russian missiles hit Poland. It is a Metro paper that circulates in trains and free in markets everywhere. You find it in the train. If you are traveling by train in London from any angle to the other, you will find it is there. It says the missiles hit most parts of Poland, and this could escalate and destroyed quite a lot of property, and some people have died. The Independent reads with a story of the toddler who died from mold in home. Surely this should not have taken place. It is a shame for the people, all the health institutions in this country, and for all people in Britain for having such a disease recurring at this hour. The Russian Independent talks of the Russian accused of missile strike on NATO country. It is provoking a war. Believe me or not, if this Russian thing is not settled in the United Nations Security Council, we shall be going in for a showdown. The same newspaper, another newspaper, the Daily Telegraph of London, says Russian missile strikes Poland, and it creates quite a lot of tension because Poland is one of the NATO countries. Therefore, NATO will be totally forced to respond. Were we heading to another third world war? The Sun, which is a tabloid in the United Kingdom, I keep our baby Angel's ashes, and that I talk to him all the time. Look, there is something going on with Manchester United, which I know you are a member, Mr. Pambe. Your team is doing very badly. They have focused on this Portuguese player. I don't know why he doesn't learn he left that place because of the same comments. And today he went back to play for the same team. That is up to him. I'm not a Manchester United supporter, neither do I like them at all. I like Liverpool up to the end. And another newspaper that is so far what we have gathered among the key issues of London newspapers, but most of the newspapers in London are talking of the Russian strike on the continent, on NATO country, which could spark a war that could ignite the NATO states that coming in to now defend Russia, defend the NATO countries like Poland, like other states that are nearby. Ukraine is already under siege. Prague, Czech, all these countries now that have joined the European Union and that have joined NATO might actually come in. Therefore, we might see an escalation of many conflicts around the region, which might be multiple conflicts, some of them. And as we do this, the security situation of the other parts of the world changes from one point to the other. Thank you very much. Let's have a break. Let's have a small, as you prepare for a conflict, something on Congo, which our teams should always prepare in the background. Let's see a short film on the conflict of Congo as you look for it in the headquarters. Those things must always be ready when we are talking about the topic. This is Matsanga Africa Perspective. Good morning, Tawishi Naro. Good morning, Tawishi Narok in Kenya.
Good morning to you, Dr. David Matsanga. Good morning to Mpambe from Communication Headquarters. And also good morning to our viewers who are watching our program.
We have not seen your face. We don't know whether you are a robot. You want to see how our correspondent, our specialist is. Thank you very much, Tawish. Anyway, go ahead.
I thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga, for having me on Matsanga Africa Perspective, and also greetings to my good brother and colleague, Pambe from our Communication Headquarters, and of course, our viewers for their patronage from Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world. Dr. Matsanga, it is indeed my great pleasure to join you. I'll be getting to my video shortly, Dr. Matsanga, but for now, kindly bear with me.
Thank you very much. Across the bridge, there is always no. Across the bridge, there's no more worry. Do we worry about this conflict, Mr. Pambe, as we wait for a clip from Africa School of Thought, which I did on Congo sometime? If the studio is ready, you just do the hands up. Get me a conflict on Congo, which I have done, and we see. Are we ready?
Yes, we are ready. The studio is also ready.
Okay,
yes.
Let's watch this clip and see what I predicted. If you think what I predicted was not right years ago, then you just can know that I'll give you back my degree. Thank you.
Today, thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and the Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger, starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN, it has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting, and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history that has littered Africa. While all these events are taking shape, Africa is silent. Africa is not making enough efforts to find a solution to what is causing the problems in Libya, in DRC, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, Biafra, and now you add in Khartoum, Sudan. As people die, the people of Africa have no answers, have no solutions. There is nothing to bring an end to the conflicts that have killed Africa. We seem to be new ones manufactured, old ones reignited, encouragement coming from external powers. One power that has been seen in the shadows of all these conflicts, especially the one of Libya that has escalated in the Sahara region of Africa, is France. When you come to Democratic Republic of Congo, the same country is in the shadows. The war can be seen is France. When you come to Cameroon, in Amazonia, the one behind that has the key to bringing peace is France. Therefore, our question as Africans, why are we silent? Why are we not saying enough is enough of the wars? Thank you.
Thank you very much, viewers. You have listened to that clip that I did some years ago, about 1 year ago or two, where I predicted that this situation was going to go out of hand. What kills Africa is not listening to advice from fellow Africans. But Africa likes to listen to advice from other Europeans whom they think are better off to give them the clue of what is going to happen in their own countries. You find that most of the African countries want to engage white professors to discuss their own problems, of which some of the white professors don't know what exactly the River Nile is. What exactly people in Kenya eat, people in Uganda eat what. They have to go around to find what they eat and the historical events that could lead to an outbreak of war. The situation in Democratic Republic of Congo and the Great Lakes region in general has been growing from worse, from bad to worse. It has now reached an apex point of view where 11 countries are sucked into a war of the unknown. Democratic Republic of Congo is neighbored by 9 countries. You can name them, starting from Chad, Congo Brazzaville, Central African Republic, South Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Zambia, Namibia, and then Angola. These are countries that neighbor this great country called Congo. Amongst them, 3 countries have come out very clearly to express their distaste for the state in Kinshasa, for the leadership in Kinshasa. One of the reasons that they have taken not to like what is happening in Congo is the failure by the Congolese government itself to flush out rebels that are stationed on their territory. There are rebel groups that have formed themselves. For the information people should know, there are 123 and 33 rebel groups. 133 rebel groups that are stationed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. To me, it looks like everybody in Congo, in Eastern Congo, has a gun. And every clan has a gun. Therefore, anybody coming in to resolve this conflict has to take serious strands that will bring about the peaceful resolution of the conflict. The Congo conflict, therefore, presents a great challenge to the people of the Great Lakes region. Do we sit and fold our hands as this nation and this war looms over us? The proxy war that we see that has come about, that has been planted on the region. Sometime back, there was a military coup in Burundi. Within 24 hours to 48 hours, that military coup or coup d'etat was crushed. The general who was the head of the coup, I don't know whether any African knows who the general is. Some of them don't know. Even those who pretended to know, they don't know his name. They don't know where he is. The general disappeared from the surface. And the time has come for people to talk the truth and not to talk lies and tell people lies, because we want to solve the problem of Africa. This is a great problem that is affecting Africa. And therefore, an African watching me on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, please wake up. This continent needs people who speak their minds. It doesn't need people who think of money first. You think of money, but how will you eat it? You think of doing business, how will you do the business? You think of accumulating, building more houses. How will you build more houses when the conflict is surrounding you? And time has come for us to think twice and talk the truth. The Burundian general who fled, we don't know. Was he killed? Was he captured? Where is this man? As President Uhuru Kenyatta shuttles in this region looking for a solution, We want people to come out openly and say, this is what I have done. This is where I am. This is what I can do to bring about peace. I say this because I love President. I like President Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya. I wouldn't like him to fall in a trap of people who have got their own vested interests in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We would like it to come out clear. The Burundi general who wanted to overthrow the late Nkurunziza, where is he? Let's sort the problem slowly. We shall come to the root cause of this war so that we stop the suffering of the people. The people who have suffered in that region need help. We are not going to keep quiet. You better tell us where these generals are. Less than that, some of us are thinking of some different tactics. Bring the matter on top of the surface. Where are these generals? Where are they? Where are they? The general who overthrew, who wanted to kill Nkurunziza, disappeared. And we are here running around that we are doing it. Let's get this guy here. Where is he? Can the Burundi government tell us where this general is? He's a national of the of Burundi. Where did he go? A proxy war. A proxy war. Let's come slowly. Today is my day to lecture. Mr. Pambe, Zip. Today is my day to tell people the truth. Where did this guy go? Where did he go? Today, this is the real tech. I hope you are having it, Fred. Where did he go? Because I'm coming out with things that you might miss at the end of the show. Where did he go? The man woke up, made a coup d'etat. It was crushed, but the general disappeared in the thin air. And today we are running around, we want peace in Congo. How will peace in Congo come when we don't know where some of the people who could be creating the insecurity are based? Let's go again. Let's go again. 133 rebel forces on one territory called the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is Matsanga Africa perspective. I'm looking at Africa, that enjoys the freedom, that looks at the future, not an Africa that solves problems all the time, not an Africa that goes on fragmenting itself. Nyerere would not welcome me to where he went if I don't talk about this. So it is up to you. If you don't like to hear what I'm talking, go and hang. But I'm telling you the truth, that if there is a problem here, we must say it out, let it come out. Even if it means being killed, let's be killed, but we have said the truth. And that truth will set us free. And that truth will deliver peace in Democratic Republic of Congo. That truth alone, and the truth alone, will set the whole region into a peaceful continent. We invite companies of oil. Today, I was listening to the South African Parliament, Pan-African Parliament, where I should actually be. I wish they said they nominate people. They should bring a clause to nominate some of us to be in this South African Parliament. Hello, heads of state around Africa. Are you hearing me? Bring a proposal to nominate people to go to South African Parliament to talk the truth. Every country on African continent that it finds oil has a problem. Why? Either they come for oil or they come for your minerals. Or if your minerals are not there, they come for you. And we have companies, Total Oil, for example. There was no war in Mozambique. The last war that I solved, the last war that I solved in Mozambique was Renamo. I was in Rome, Italy, at the Vatican, at the invitation of Saint Gideon, with Chisano, Kofi Annan, and Saint Gideon. And the Pope Paul invited us. He had invited the Uganda delegation because of the Uganda war with the former Prime Minister of Uganda, who is a retired Prime Minister. We are on the peace process of Uganda, and we are invited by Pope John Paul, who touched our hands. May his soul rest in peace. That's why the hands are clean. We were invited. And we went to Rome. We signed an agreement between Renamo and Frelimo. That was the first war of Mozambique. Now tell me, what happened in Cape Delgado is Total Oil, is the oil company of the French who took the war in northern Mozambique. Mozambique was peaceful. And you don't want us to talk about our continent? You don't want us to say that our continent is peaceful. You come and you are taking the minerals, you want to take our lives also. Time has come for Africa to stand up and say no. You saw the war in Mozambique, killed thousands of people in Cape Delgado, and then they hired, the Total Oil came and said, we want somebody to stop this war. You know whom they hired? They hired one of the armies in Africa. I want to thank the government of Rwanda, the President Kagame, for having sacrificed his men to go into Cape Delgado on the expense of Total Oil. Let Africans hear, you cannot make money at our expense all the time and you are smart. No way. Total Oil paid people to go and solve the problem of Mozambique. That conflict is dying, but it might come back because it is not a solution. Ladies and gentlemen, those watching this clip and those who will get this clip, we are under siege of companies, international companies that are seeking for diamonds, gold, oil, cotton, all these minerals are found in our region. Are we safe? Therefore, what can we do to safeguard the interests of the local people who die, like the people who were talking to President Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya yesterday? That clip should be coming. You must have that clip there, studios. In Ngoma, the refugees were saying, hello, we are dead. We are dead. We are dead. We are dying. Shouldn't we talk about it? Yes, we should talk about it. But we should be open when addressing these issues. We should be very candid and tell the truth. Nothing but the truth. A general disappears from your army, from the thin air, is not accountable, is not killed, then you are looking for the root cause of the war in Congo. Where is that general? This morning I woke up in a mood to say the truth, that it set me free. Let Africa hear me. I'm not PLO Lumumba. I'm a man with a military background. PLO Lumumba is just a civilian with academic papers. And I thank him for also being a good orator. But for me, I go to the root cause. I want to find the root cause. Why there is still a war when there is a general who has disappeared in thin air, sitting somewhere, organizing a war that kills the people of DRC Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very disturbed that the entire region of this great nation is suffering. The entire region of this great lakes region has a war, a looming war. I want to come to the second strand of my analysis. The second strand of my analysis: who are the superpowers hovering over this region? We have to be very honest and open and now warn them. Tell them that we know. Yes, I've given you a very good example. Mozambique was peaceful. A war was created. It is a war of oil and a hot gas. Gas in the Beira Triangle. It is not Matsanga. It is there. There are facts in Cape Delgado. Total Oil went there and called people to say, called Kagame to go and help them. Mozambique government had no alternative because they had handled the situation badly. They brought two international agencies, the American company and the French company. The fight erupts to the locals. Locals pick up guns and start fighting the government and killing the people. Is that Matsanga's war? Is that Mozambican war? Every day, every morning in the Great Lakes region, France sends 2 Airbuses to the capital city of Central African Republic. What do these Airbuses carry? Do they carry sand? Do they carry timber, trees? Are they carrying goats? What do they carry back? There is no tourism in Central African Republic. What do they carry? We want to know. We want to hear. Because people want to know. People in Africa want to know, to die when they know exactly what the situation is. Why are you dying? Are you dying because you want to die and God has said you want to die? No. The people in DRC Congo, I want you to bring that clip of President Kenyatta meeting refugees in DRC Congo yesterday. That clip, if you have it, get it ready.
Yes,
Look at that. Look at that scenario. Look at the scenario in Congo. Even the president of Congo himself, Mr. Tshisekedi, has never gone to this place. He doesn't want to meet these people. What is the problem? That is Congo a problem? If Congo is a problem, can we sit down on the table and find out what we can do for Congo? Yugoslavia was a problem for Europe. I studied political science to the last iota. What will you do? What? You can kill me if you want. But what will you do? No, surely, what will you do? I've talked the truth. Yugoslavia was a problem in Europe. And the European countries sparked a war. and Yugoslavia was dismembered into several states. Today we have several states in Yugoslavia. The former Yugoslavia, we have Serbia, Bosnia, Macedonia, Albania. These are the states in Europe that used to be under Yugoslavia. Is it a problem for us in Africa to find out why Congo, with all these resources, it is in turmoil? We can also sit down, because some people don't want to tell the truth. Where do these rebels come from? Who funds them? Hello? Hello, Africa. Who funds them? Who arms them? Who recruits them? How do they eat? That is my contribution. When you see two Airbuses carrying nothing but entering Bangui Airport, has the war in Central Africa ended? Has the war in Central Africa ended? The government just controls a small town. And the French went and equipped Mr. Bozize with some people, elders in this region. They have equipped Bozize and they are killing people in the Central African Republic. You don't want Matsanga to speak? Yeah. This is the time for us to speak our mind if we want this war to end. You cannot say you are safe. You can't say Congo is in war, it is not me. If Congolese are in war, they will have refugees coming to Nairobi, they will have refugees coming to Kampala, there will be refugees going to Dar es Salaam, there will be refugees going to Indian Ocean. Some will want to die. Isn't it the time, therefore, for us to sit down, review the situation in Democratic Republic of Congo? I submit, therefore, with the background that Mr. Pambe Matsanga will be bringing and Tawish. Let's now go to this subject. I've given you enough clips that my editor should pick clips and punch words. Don't bring me essays. Don't bring me a video that has no punch words. Look at the punch words. Editorial down in Nairobi. Those are the punch words that I want. The punchlines, they are there. How long? How can a journal disappear from the surface and we keep quiet? Where is he? And we are now saying, what are we solving here? The situation in Democratic Republic of Congo, therefore, needs to be addressed. And the situation must be addressed with a focus on the root cause. The people funding, they call them out. I'm very glad President Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the South African Deputy President, food has finally arrived in Tigray. I shouted. I've been shouting for how many months? Pambe? Almost 1 year. 1 year I've been shouting. Look at my clips. Look at this television station. Thank you very much. We have done our best, ladies and gentlemen. We have opened the eyes of the people who can come and help us. Say, oh, yeah. But the food has arrived in Tigray. Proud is Matsanga here to hear that medical equipment has arrived in Tigray and it is going to save the people of Tigray. Hallelujah to Zenawi, my brother Zenawi, the late Zenawi, you went too fast. You should have waited for us. My brother, we struggled together. We planned together that war that removed Mengistu Haile Mariam. Our people were under siege. Today I'm very happy. I'm a happy African. Oh, ye. That one is solved. Let's focus on this one, which looks very, very carefully designed to loom around the region. How do you stop Uganda from digging its oil to export it to any destination it wants? Who are you? Who are you? Excuse me? Excuse me. This is a resource for the people of Uganda and Tanzania. They have a right to develop their area. If you want to come in and say, let's give you money, and we also show that we put our flag as a people who have developed the area, come bring the money. But you can't come and say, there is pollution, there is what, Mr. President of Republic of Uganda, just dig the pipe. Dig it. Ah, let it go to Tanga. Most of us are already prepared in Tanga. People, the town is blooming with buildings. Why should you tell the government in Africa, don't do oil, don't do this? Who are you? Who are you? If there are foreign, if there are difficulties of human rights, address the president directly, but don't stop the pipeline from being dug. You come and tell the president that you are committing human rights, but don't, the French don't do these tactics. We know you are the same people, Total Oil. Then you went and gave another report that there is a pollution, there is a climate destruction, degradation. Uganda, dig the oil, dig the pipe. I was in Tanzania, and I found a great friend of mine, whom I will not name here because he hasn't told me to say so. He told me, this pipeline is exciting if you look at the railway, the way it will run 1,500 miles. And the infrastructure growing, how many towns via that vast land up to Mwanza, how many big good ships that we shall have on Lake Victoria, cruise to go. We want to use the railway. Why are you stopping us? We want to exploit other areas. Fellow Africans, the time has come for Africa to stand up. The time has arrived for Africa to see, to evaluate itself on which level it wants to operate. I land the mic to you in the studio and to Tawish. Any questions?
And indeed, the truth must be said, and of course, you have been in the forefront in saying the truth here in Africa. And of course, I'll be able just to give the background of the topic of today, where the province of North Kivu in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is facing significant instability due to the resurgent March 23 or M23 movement, which has resumed clashes with the Congolese armed forces, which is known as FARDC, in the territories of Rutshuru and Nyiragongo since June this year. The Congolese government from Kinshasa claims the aggression is orchestrated by Rwanda using M23 as a cover, arguing that M23 would otherwise have neither the manpower nor the material capacity to confront the FARDC. M23 is among more than 100 armed groups operating in the eastern DRC. Unfortunately, these clashes are not only leading to the mass displacement of hundreds of thousands of civilians, mostly women and children, but also to high tensions between the DRC and Rwanda, which may hinder prospects for peace and stability in the entire Great Lakes region. More than 355,000 Congolese have fled their homes so far this year in 2022, according to the United Nations, pushing the number of those displaced in DRC due to overlapping conflicts to more than 5.5 million this year, the largest recorded humanitarian crisis of its kind in Africa. Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi warns that regional tensions could escalate into a full-blown war if Rwanda's provocation continues. His Rwandan counterpart, Paul Kagame, who denies his country is behind the M23, says shelling from conflicts waged in DRC territory has crossed its borders. And Burundi was the first country to send troops in DRC, the Bukavu area, which is found in South Kivu. It was in July 2022. Just to sum up on the that summary, after occupying the town of Bunagana on the border with Uganda since this year, that's June 2022, the M23 rebels advanced to seize several other towns and localities in the Rutshuru territory during October. And the towns included Rutshuru and Kiwanja, as well as the border post of Kitagoma on the DRC-Ugandan border. Hundreds of thousands of local people fled either to Uganda or other localities still considered safe. And Rwanda, for its part, has always rejected Kinshasa's accusations and accused the DRC of supporting the FDLR, or the Democratic Forces for Liberation of Rwanda, an armed group opposed to the government in Kigali and operating on Congolese soil since the 1994 Rwandan genocide. The three countries of the Great Lakes region, that's Rwanda, Burundi, and Democratic Republic of Congo, constitute a common geographical area composed of communities interconnected by language, culture, trade, and family ties. And we remember that in February 2013, the Peace, Security, and Cooperation Framework for the DRC and the region was signed by 11 countries, namely Angola, and also we had other countries like Burundi, the Central African Republic was included, the Republic of Congo, the DRC itself, Rwanda, South Africa, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. In early 2014, Kenya and Sudan became the 12th and 13th signatories of the framework, respectively. And we are glad that the second batch of Kenyan troops are due to arrive in Democratic Republic of Congo today, Wednesday, and they are part of the regional force deployed for a peacekeeping mission in the east of the country. Armed groups have stepped up attacks in recent months, raising concern about the threat they pose to the region's security. More than 900 Kenyan troops will be based near the town of Goma in the volatile region. That is the summary of this conflict. And of course, the question is asked, do you agree that a proxy war looms in the Great Lakes region of Africa? Tarwish Olesosina from Narok. Welcome for this topic. All right.
Unmute.
Sorry, thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga, and thank you, Pambe, for that submission. And indeed, I agree with both of you 100%. That there is indeed a proxy war in the Great Lakes region in the African continent. And we've seen the Great Lakes region in the African continent today become synonymous with conflict, synonymous with violence, synonymous with uprising, and synonymous with removal of governments, regimes, change of regimes and coups in the Great Lakes region. And this proxy war, when you look into it deeply, or rather in the deeper sense, you get to understand that the African people now are more embroiled in a war that is primarily not theirs. Because again, the contestation in as far as all this wars and why they are there in the first place is not originally African, or is nothing really to do with the African people. But because of those who are so much keen on the resources and the wealth that is Africa, they will want to wage this proxy war, where you will now find communities fighting against each other. You'll find ethnic tension becoming the order of the day, seeing the emergence of the rebel movements and extremism activities being carried out in the rest of the region. So in itself, you get to appreciate the fact that more of these wars that we continue to partake in are not necessarily ours. We are the one who are bearing the brunt of this war. We are losing so many civilians. People are being displaced. Property is being destroyed. There's completely no settling down in most of the great region today. And as we do this, I mean, those who are so much keen on exploiting the resources that are in Africa are now taking the advantage of that infighting. They are taking the advantage of these squabbles between or amongst nations and between also the ethnic groups in respective countries are ready to continue to exploit the resources that are in this continent, more so to the detriment of the ordinary Mwananchi. Because again, these resources, if well exploited by our governments or by our people, then we would have seen a greater impact and the change of livelihood for our people. But as things stand today, Dr. Matsanga, we do not see the prospect of us finding really a solution to this crisis. If we could not wake up as a people first and foremost, as a people of the continent, and be able to confront this monster head on, then we'll never really be able to find this, peace and tranquility in this region. I've seen Dr. Masan, this is not the first time really you mentioning and giving really a list of the nations. I remember sometimes back, was it 3-4 years back, when you used to tell me that just to watch what is going to happen in this in the Great Lakes region, in the Sahel region, look into the destabilization, the plots for a regime change. And true to your word, Dr. Matsanga, true to your to what you predicted, we have come. This has really come to pass. Most of this nation, if not all, really have been destabilized. We've seen regime changes. We've seen coups taking place in these countries, and all has just but been turmoil and conflict and violence in those countries. So it's very, very unfortunate, and that is why now we want to appeal. Even those remaining nations that appear to be, to some extent, stable and peaceful, to be very watchful and to be very vigilant, because again, they can also fall prey of the agents and merchants of the proxy war, those who are doing this and they're not participating actively. They're giving funding, they're giving resources, and sometimes even supplying weaponry to these groups to be able to stabilize government. So we need to remain vigilant and to ensure that as a continent, we become united. If we cannot pursue that unity of purpose and become united, then we will not be able to confront and to deal with these challenges that are being, and hurdles that are being put on our way. Because again, the journey to liberate Africa seems to be far from over. It needs a well-concerted effort from each of us, and more so the leadership, of course, with the support of the civilians, to see into it how we can have a complete independent African continent. I think that is where the problem is, because like I've said before, and I will want to reiterate, Dr. Matsanga and Pambe, that there seems to be a new attempt to recolonize Africa again. There's still scramble for Africa, or a fresh scramble for Africa, especially this time around when you look at the prospects of the mineral resources and the wealth and the riches of the African continent. Most of these European countries, Dr. Matsanga, if we will just be blunt with the truth, they have exploited everything that is at their disposal. Even their lands are not that fertile and arable as you will compare with the African soil today. So it is in their best interest to see the conflict really persist, so that they can continually exploit our people and exploit the riches that God bestowed on this very great continent of Africa. So we must then remain vigilant if we are to pursue peace and realize the prosperity of the entire African continent. Dr. Ari and Mpambe, I submit.
Thank you, Tarwisho Lesesina from Narok. I just have a question. Is there any way that an African Union can also come in to support, rather to mitigate on this process, because it has been arguing and also urging the people here in Congo.
African Union?
Yeah, the African Union, it has been saying that it has been calling for ceasefire.
Why are you wasting your saliva?
I think there's a very big and sharp difference between the office and the office bearer. You know, we are looking onto the African Union as though it's just the office, but we must also be able to look onto the people in the office of the African Union. And I think that is where the problem is. Dr. Matsanga has all along been advocating that we need a complete change and overhaul of the entire leadership of the African Union. Until we do that and get the right people in the African Union, we will just be chasing hot air. I should use that word.
Look, my comrades, the African Union is there as a symbol with letters African Union. But in actual sense, it is dead. And let's be very honest, it is dead. It goes for conferences, G20. The guy, the tall guy from Chad is making an image for himself to come and rule Chad. But he's not making an image for Africa. There is no Africa Union image being created by Mr. Dr. Muhammad Faki. I will never like him. I don't like to see his face because he has killed African Union. He has killed the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah, Nyerere, Obote, Jomo Kenyatta, Sekou Toure, Nyasa, Kabura, and the Bela Bela. They are dead. He killed them. He has been bought by the French. A contingent of people came from South Libya, went and killed Idris Deby. They assassinated the president of Chad. The African Union did not condemn this group that claimed, and it's trained by Egypt. Assisi was the chairperson of African Union at that time. Hello, Africa, tell me, where is this chairman of African Union? Where? Where is he? Mr. Musa Faki, the tenure of office is coming to an end. But we shall see how much you have done for damage you have done for African Union. You have damaged this international organization that would be bargaining for equal rights in the United Nations Security Council. You dismiss the lady from Zimbabwe, from the African Union headquarters, saying he, of man of reasons, because he was exposing your hypocrisy, your double standards with French. We know you, the conflict in Amazonia, because it is not the Fulani people dying. Mr. Muhammad Faki does not care. The Amazonians are dying today under the rule of Paul Biya, 42 years in power, and he still wants more. African Union cannot bring a resolution on the table. Shame on you. Look at the people of Biafra. They are being killed by Buhari day in and out. Nobody has brought a resolution to the African Union. Shame on you. Look at the Central African Republic. The mining, the extraction of gold, diamonds, timber is taking place every day. Nobody is coming to talk about it in the African Union. Shame on you. Look at what is happening in Khartoum. What have you done? You have left the vulnerable people at the expense of nowhere to go. African Union, shame on you. Look at the Democratic Republic of Congo. When you said nobody should recognize Tshisekedi, yet you had sent there a delegation to observe Tshisekedi's election. Wolole, shame on you. You have leadership qualities. Mr. Muhammad Faki, resign. Go home. Go and contest for elections in Chad. Then we take our African Union back. We want a vibrant African Union that can stand up, speak for Africa, not speak for metros of Europe. You have had enough money. You have used our union to get a lot of money. Get out. I will never go to Addis Ababa. Didn't I tell you? Again, never. I'm sorry, Dr. Abiy. Not because of you. You are my friend. But because of that tall guy, Muhammad Faki, I will never go to Addis Ababa until he leaves Addis Ababa. I have done civil disobedience of myself. Will you kill me? You think I don't have the money to fly to Addis Ababa? But I don't want to go there because of that tall guy. He's useless. He's killed our African Union. And let's talk the truth about this. Some of us are almost age mates. But you can't operate that way. You allow corruption to grow in the South African Union. Uhuru Kenyatta paid $1 million. Kenya paid $1 million for constituting the court. Where is the money? The late Mugabe, my man, paid $1 million to reorganize South Africa, African Union. Where is the money? Where is the money? We now need the money to organize, to stabilize Ethiopia. South Sudan needs money to organize, to stabilize its peace process. No money. African Union is supposed to go out there and create a donor conference. Why do we have a donor conference for Ukraine and we cannot have a donor conference for South Sudan? God, are you seeing us? God, can you see this? They have collected a donor conference for Ukraine, but we have no donor conference for South Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, my panel in the studios in Nairobi and Narok. There you are. Mr. Tony Blair doctored documents and bombed a country in Europe, in the middle of the Gulf, killed it. That there was a nuclear weapon in Baghdad. Are these people not ashamed to walk? That today he has got an organization walking around Africa, siphoning African money. What advice can such organizations give? What advice? Some of us also got first-class honors degrees. Why don't you give us the contacts? We also know. We know these people. We know what happens in Europe. We can also call Commons, House of Commons. We can go in. What advice? You kill a country, then you come to walk around Africa that you want consultants. To consult what? And then you come and say, I'm sorry, the document was doctored. You should be in jail. Have you seen that? I'm a member of the Labour Party. The last conference I found when it was ending, when I was in London, when I went, it had just ended. But I'm a delegate of Croydon Central constituency, a delegate of the National Conference. Once you're elected, your powers are given to you every year of the Delegates Conference. I'm still a delegate. But I'll raise this motion on the floor that the Delegates Conference here do by censor. We want to censor some people. You cannot belittle Africa, destroy Africa, and deliver Africa through proxy. We have suffered. The continent suffers. But African Union, the gentleman in the African Union does not help us. You can't come and kill a president of an African Union. You can't kill a president of African Union. President Idris of Chad was assassinated, killed by rebels whom we know very well. Viewers, in this circumstance, The African Union should have condemned the rebels who are in South Libya, commanded by General Haftar, a French puppet who has been told to cut Libya into two parts of Benghazi and Tripoli. The African Union has never said a word. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel in Nairobi and Narok. Sorry, these are the obstacles, the challenges that the African Union faces. We have now got a truce in Ethiopia. We need money, an African donor conference that can bring in money to give the mediators enough capacity to go on the ground to build confidence amongst the fighters. We don't have that money. We don't have that money. So, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like that is where the rubber has met. The rubber meets the what? The road. We are in catch-22. Africa is still going to bleed. So, Bambe, your question, there is no African Union. It is a building with its name, but the man running it runs it like a personal property between him and France. I landed the mic.
All right, thank you for landing the mic. And of course, there is also a suggestion that there could also be sanctions. Could we consider sanctions against those countries that are bringing in aggression or violating international law or territorial integrity and national sovereignty, rather by conducting free and independent investigations? And if so, do you also need donors to support local initiatives to combat hate speech and discourage communal violence based on identity and stereotypes, or we only need donors to support perhaps on mitigating the food initiatives and so on?
How can you mitigate hate speech when there is no hate speech? Where is it? Hate speech to people who have not eaten for 5 days. How can they do hate speech? Tawish, people who have not eaten for 5 people have not eaten for 5 days cannot do hate speech. Hate speech is done by men who have eaten chicken, 5 chicken, 10 chicken. But these people in DRC Congo can't do hate speech because they have not eaten. They keep on running as bombs land on them. The African Union cannot even organize a small conference in a toilet that can raise money for South Sudan. The South Sudan peace process is in a hunger, cliffhanger. Anytime a war could erupt there. We put people in camps. People started running away with guns, going back to form more militias. So what type of life are we heading? Thank you. Thank you very much. This was Matsanga Africa Perspective. Tawish, thank you very much in Narok. Thank you very much in Nairobi. We continue with the struggle against the type of racism, the type of discrimination that Africa has. We continue with the way the war, the looming proxy war, which is not our war. I've asked one cardinal question. Where did that general go? If you find him, then you can find a solution for Democratic Republic of Congo. I land the mic peacefully and I say bye-bye. This station, therefore, was for Africa, with Africa, by Africa. Ciao.